In this video, we will see the solution to the practice exercise Create Ceilings. This exercise asks us to create ceilings in an existing model and apply a new ceiling type to some of those ceilings. We'll also need to adjust the ceiling grid layout on two of the ceilings. Then we're asked to place some lighting components and align these to the ceiling grid, and then also create an array of lights across two of the rooms. Let's begin by opening the file Create Ceilings. Zooming into the 3D model here, we can see the area, the rooms that we need to place the ceilings within. So in order to do this, we need to be in a ceiling plan. So from the project browser, we'll come and open up the level 1 ceiling plan. Zooming into the area, we can see the individual rooms now that we need to create the ceilings in. And to create those ceilings, from the architecture ribbon tab on the build panel, we'll come and choose the ceiling tool. Looking at the type selector, we have the 2 foot by 2 foot ACT system chosen, and we'll stick with that one initially. And looking at the place ceiling modify ribbon tab here, we have the automatic ceiling option chosen. So this means that as we go over our rooms, we can see the red boundary outlining the room and therefore the boundary of the ceiling. So we just need to select inside the room, and then we can come and place ceilings into each of these rooms. When we come over the lobby area, the red boundary actually flows into the main space there, and we don't actually want to create the ceiling throughout the whole space. So therefore we'll come back to the modify ribbon and we'll choose the sketch ceiling option. This now gives us some draw tools, and we'll swap this to be a rectangle. And we can now just choose the corners of our lobby area to create the sketch lines that we need. And then choose Finish Edit Mode to come and create the ceiling itself. That's placed all of the ceilings in the room as we need them. We have the lobby and the two main rooms here. And we can change their ceiling type to be the Gyprock wallboard on metal stud type. And now this leaves us with the two gridded ceilings that we need to apply our new ceiling type to. So we'll select one of these and choose Edit Type from the Properties palette. We'll now choose Duplicate to create our new ceiling type, and we'll call this 2 foot by 1 foot ACT system. Now that's created, we'll come to the construction panel and we'll choose to edit the structure. And we can see that we have layer 4, which is the finish layer. That's currently using the acoustic ceiling tile 24 by 24 material. And we'll swap this one out, so we'll select this material, and then from the ellipses we'll choose to launch the material browser. And we can see we have a material here which acoustic ceiling tile 24 by 12, so we'll select this one and we'll choose OK and apply that to the finish layer here. Choose OK to save those changes, and then OK to apply that to our current ceiling. And now we can select the other gridded ceiling and come and swap it from the type selector to the new 2 foot by 1 foot system that we've just created. So looking at the ceiling grid, we now need to rotate the tiles so that they run across the room rather than along the length of the room. So to begin with, we'll come to this ceiling here and we'll choose the middle grid line. And then from the Modify ribbon tab, we'll come and choose the Rotate tool. We can see the center of rotation is off center of the actual room itself. So from the options bar, we'll come and choose the Place Center of Rotation option. And we can then snap to the middle of the line. We'll click to start it and then type in 90 degrees to rotate that through 90 degrees. We'll repeat this for the room above. So once again, we'll choose our middle grid line. Choose Rotate from the Modify ribbon tab, and then Place for the center of rotation, and place it in the middle of our line. And we can start the rotation off and type in 90 degrees. However, with this ceiling, rather than have a grid line down the center, we want the tile to be positioned in the center. So once again, we'll select the grid line, and from the Modify ribbon tab, we'll choose the Move tool. Now we can choose a start point and move this up by 1 foot. And that way we have a tile in the center of the room, but it's still evenly spread throughout the room. So that's placed all of our ceilings in our rooms. We'll come and have a look at the 3D section view. And there we can see the ceilings. And if I select one of these, looking at its properties, we have a height offset from level of 8 feet, which is the default ceiling height that they've all been placed at. The 3 GWB on metal stud ceilings We need to move those up, so we'll select those and we'll change this height offset from level to be 9'6". And now we can see that they've moved up to the correct height. So having got all of the ceilings in the right location, we now need to come and place some light components in. So we'll go back to the level 1 ceiling plan. And we'll start by placing the troffer lights into the gridded ceiling. So from the architecture ribbon tab, on the build panel, we'll choose the component tool. And then from the type selector, we'll come and find the parabolic troffer light. And we need to use the 2x2 2-lamp 120 volt version. This is a ceiling hosted object, so we can't place it until we're over a ceiling. However, zooming in here, we can't actually snap to the ceiling grid. So we'll place this off center on both occasions here. And then we'll come back and choose the align tool from the modify ribbon so that we can position it correctly. We'll start by choosing the ceiling grid and then the edge of the light. And then the horizontal ceiling grid and the horizontal edge to get it into the correct location. And then we can repeat this with the other light, so we'll choose the ceiling grid and then the light, and then the ceiling grid once more and then the opposite side. And now we have our 2 troffer lights placed in the correct location for this room. We'll come and repeat this for the room above. So we'll choose modify to finish the align tool, and then from the architecture ribbon tab, we'll come and choose the component tool from the build panel once more. We still have the troffer lamp selected in the type selector, so we'll come and place one of these into our ceiling. And I'll choose modify to finish placing it, and we'll come and align this one into the correct location first. So from the modify ribbon tab, we'll choose the align tool, and then select our ceiling grid line and the edge of the lamp. And then the next ceiling grid line, the vertical one, and then the edge of our lamp to get that in the correct location. Having got one of those in the right location, we'll use the copy tool. So from the modify ribbon tab, we'll choose copy. I'll select my light as the object to copy and press return. And now we'll choose a grid line as the starting point. We can copy this across to the end so that we have our end light in the correct position. And then as we had the multiple options selected, we can come and choose the next location to finish laying out our lights. So that's placed the troffer lights in the gridded ceilings, and now we need to create the array of lights in these 2 main rooms here. The detail plan that's associated to the exercise asks us to create a 4x4 array in this room and a 3x4 array in this room. And the array needs to be placed 1'6" away from the edge of the room here, or from the walls. So to help us position it, we'll come and place some detail lines first. So from the annotate ribbon tab, we'll choose the detail line tool off the detail panel. From our draw tools, we'll swap it to be a rectangle. Then on the options bar, we'll set the offset to be 1'6". Now we can come and snap to the corner of the room. And I'll use the space bar on the keyboard to flip the offset so that it's inboard the room rather than outside. And then choosing the opposite corner, we now have the outline of where our grid of light should be. And we can use the same tool to repeat this in the room below. So having got these detail lines to help us with the positioning, we can go back to the architecture ribbon tab and choose the component tool from the build panel. And then from the type selector, we need to come and find our downlight. So we can see it here, the recessed lamp round LED with the 4-inch trim downlight type. This is a face-based object, so therefore looking at the place component modify ribbon tab here, it's currently set to be on a vertical face. We need to change this to place on a face so that it can be placed on our horizontal ceilings here. So now we've done this, we'll come and snap to the intersection of our lines in the corner here, and we'll repeat this in the room below. And now we have those placed in the correct location in our rooms, we can use the array tool to create the copies. So we'll choose modify to finish placing the lamps, and then we'll select this lamp down here. And from the modify ribbon, we'll come and choose the array tool. Looking at the options bar, it's set to be a linear array. We'll uncheck group and associate. We'll set the number to be 4, and then we'll change it from move to second to move to last. So now zooming in a little bit, we can choose our detail line as the start point, and then the opposite end of the detail line as our last component, and then that will create the array of 4 objects that we're looking for. So we'll select these 4 lamps that we've placed, and then we'll come and choose the array tool once more. The group and associate is still unticked, as is the move to last, so we'll reset the number to 4 again, and then we'll choose the detail line as the start point and then the opposite detail line as the end point. And that way we've created our array of lights. Now we can just select these detail lines, so we'll hover over one and press tab to select the chain of lines, and then we can just delete those out. We'll come and repeat the array for the other room. So once again we'll select this light and choose array. We'll set the number to 4, and then we can start by choosing the detail line here and then the opposite detail line to create our 4. And again we'll reselect these and choose array once more. This time we'll set the number to 3 and then choose the detail line as the start and the opposite line as the end and create our array. Once again we'll hover over one of our detail lines, press tab to select the chain, and then select those and delete those. So we've created the trough of lights within the gridded ceilings and positioned those. We've made the array of lights in the 2 rooms. Finally we just need to place the 2 pendant lamps in the lobby area here. So once again from the Architecture Ribbon tab we'll come and choose the component tool. From the type selector we'll come and choose the pendant lamp arc glass LED standard. And once again we need to choose place on face, as this is face based at 2, and then we can come and locate this, and we'll place the first one in and choose modify to finish placing that. So to locate this in the correct place, from the annotate ribbon tab we'll come and place some aligned dimensions, and we'll start by choosing the center of the pendant lamp, and then we'll come across and grab each wall, and then once we've placed those down we can come and choose the EQ toggle to place that centrally within the room. And now we'll come and create another aligned dimension from the face of the wall here to the top level just here, and now we can choose our light fitting and set this to be 2'3". Now we have that in the correct location, we'll select the light fitting once more, and we'll use the mirror draw axis tool here, and we can snap to the middle of our wall and then mirror that down to the next location. Having got those in the correct place, we'll delete out the dimensions as they're no longer required, and we'll use the unconstrained so it no longer has the equality constraint on there. So that finishes placing all the lamps. So we'll take a look in the 3D section view, and we can see the ceilings placed. With the lights placed within those ceilings, we can see the array of lights here and the pendant lamps. So this finishes our exercise.